Early in 1941, in response to public pressure, the Roosevelt administration forced the Army Air Corps to create a flying combat unit of Black American pilots. Initially, the U.S. War Department resisted change, purposefully setting up a tough system of requirements in prior flight experience or higher education they knew would be difficult to meet. These efforts to eliminate the all-Black unit before it began backfired when the Air Corps received numerous applications from qualified men. Squadron training took place at the Tuskegee Army Airfield, and the pilots trained there became known as the Tuskegee Airmen. In July of 1942, Lieutenant Colonel Benjamin Davis Jr. was named commander of the 1st All-Black Air Unit, the 99th Squadron. This squadron, equipped with P-40 Warhawks, fought in the skies over Africa and Europe. In 1943, Colonel Davis took command of the 332nd, another, larger, all-black fighter group. Nicknamed the Red Tails because of the distinctive red paint on the tails of their P-51 Mustangs, the fighters of the 332nd had an outstanding combat record. Reportedly, bomber groups would request red tail escort when possible. Hello, I'm here with two of the original Tuskegee Airmen, Colonel McCreary and Colonel Crockett. Colonel Crockett, when did you first become interested in flying, and why did you decide to become a pilot?
I first was in the 349th Field Artillery at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. And I knew my little blonde lieutenant's basic pay was $125 per month. Mm-hmm. The Army Air Corps placed a poster up in the auditor room, be a pilot, mm-hmm. and earned $245 per month. It didn't take too much math to figure out the difference in 125 and 245. And at the time, they were attempting to wash out blacks and not let them pass the test throughout the system. Mm-hmm. And after I passed the written and physical exam, I stopped by to mention to this major that I'm headed for flying school. And he said, but I thought you washed out. As far as I could get away from this guy, he said, I thought you washed out. Mm-hmm. And that was happening, I think, to blacks all over the country there.
When it comes down to it, you guys were really fighting two battles, one with World War II abroad and one with racism back at home. How did this affect you?
Our first battle was segregation, just to fight for the country. The nation at that particular time was white and black. Mm-hmm. It was just like oil and water. You don't mix them. Mm-hmm. There were members of the Congress officially made their position official that they thought the Afro-American youth did not have the intelligence to fly an airplane, did not have the coordination to fly the airplane, could not take orders, and did not have the potential to become leaders. Mm-hmm. That was the description of us.
Did you know at the time that your efforts would pave the way for African Americans in the armed forces now?
At that particular time, it was just a blur on the horizon. Now, I can go on a commercial airliner, and it's satisfying to see a black Afro-American woman being a captain of a civilian airline. That is our satisfaction. Everything that we went through, the trials and tribulations, the insults and all of that, became irrelevant because the proof is in the pudding.
Absolutely. As you look back on it, what does it feel for you to have been a part of something so historically significant?
It's a good feeling that you've made your contribution.
Oh, absolutely.
Had to fight to do it, and it gives you a very, very good feeling. Know that you accomplished it, and you finally integrated the system, and we did well, and I felt like we had arrived.
Do any particular missions stick out in your mind?
Going to Berlin, it was 800 miles one way. And we had to do a lot of planning, putting big tanks on the airplanes the night before, external fuel to make sure we could make it there and back. And going down to Folgers to pick up the new tanks. They couldn't find all the tanks they needed. They were told there were tanks on a train going north. They caught it with the train, and they called it the Great Train Robbery. And that was quite a job.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
When you came home from your missions, did you feel like you were treated any differently or any better, or?
When I came back and got off the ship, we were denied access to the officers' club, even though you were an officer. German prisoners could go to the movie and sit down front, and blacks had to sit in the back, the guy says, in the crow's nest. And there were a lot of things that you didn't like, but they existed. And until President Truman signed the order and integrated the system and got rid of all of that, why, that was a big change that was made, and things were better for all of us.
Colonel McCreary, can you tell us about the Congressional Gold Medal that the Tuskegee Airmen received?
Right. The Congressional Gold Medal went to every person that was involved with the Tuskegee Airmen overseas in combat. Civilians, support personnel, enlisted personnel. It didn't go just to pilots, it went to the entire organization.
How did it feel for you gentlemen when you received the medal?
We waited almost 50 years just to be recognized of having fought overseas. It was a complete absence of history. We didn't exist. And the medal that we received was satisfying to us that the accomplishments that we made under the adverse circumstances was indeed gratifying.
All those many, many years. And I thought it was rather gratifying to finally get recognized for what you had done for those many, many years. And enjoyable.
What should people, as us looking back, what should we remember most about your service and your accomplishments?
We look upon Joe Louis as a champion, always remembered. We look upon Rosa Parks as an individual who fought a personal battle for integration. And we look upon Martin Luther King, who fought a battle and is remembered today. The Tuskegee Airmen now have emerged out of the dust of the clay of Alabama, the ignorant Afro-American youth who didn't have any qualification. They had ended up at the end of the war one of the best fighting groups in the entire Air Force. That's our satisfaction. That's the legacy that should be remembered.
I love that. I thank you both for your service, and I thank you for your time and meeting with us.
You're quite welcome.
Thank you.
It was a joy.